You took the decision to establish Sheikh ul Islam office. I don't actually know what that is. I would not have a clue. I'm assuming it has something to do with like a religious tax. It'll be something religious in nature. Julian Diocletian, one of our advisors, must certainly be one of the greatest scholars of our time. His field of expertise is patristics and classical literature. Has had a great influence on theological debate. Oh, is he our theologian? I guess so. Yes. As a man of the middle ground, his views have made him a beacon for those who value liberty more than orthodoxy. So, gain 1 stability or gain 50 prestige. Well, oh, hang on. Missionary strength increase. Julian Diocletian, I love you. Yes, that's beautiful. 32 months. Whoop whoop. Alright, let's continue. Hopefully we'll be able to unite most of our nation religiously. How close are we to getting a reform? We're below 40%. That's pretty good. Usually by this time in my test games, the reform desire was about mid-50s by this point. Which meant that you got the Reformation happening in 1550 odd. Which isn't the worst thing in the world, but I don't really like the Reformation because then you've got to deal with... If you've got a massive empire, Reformation is not a good thing. Because you will have to deal with sending missionaries out to convert lots of other places. And if your country isn't already religiously together, like you don't have a high religious unity, you're in for a bad time. We can't build any extra forts. I believe that the next level of military tech does get us some forts. So until then, we're going to start building training fields. Actually, no. We're going to finish building armories in our heartland. So I'm going to claim our heartland as Europe in general. This area of Europe, that is, that we directly control. Because we did hold this area for a fair while. I mean, with the exception of Germany, obviously. In Crusader Kings 2. We will trust them to be loyal to us again. We have been religiously tolerant in recent times. Let us continue. We are a very progressive monarchy. Yes, we are. Alright. So, we're not putting too much of a huge focus on military, I don't feel, because, you know, we're trying to roleplay it. I don't feel that building armories is that much of a concession towards the military side of things. We are building more things that are trade-based and diplomacy-based, etc. We have finished a conversion again. Good. Go and convert more people to the one true faith. And we will continue building up our trade depots. I would love it if there was more diplomatic buildings. That would be really fantastic. But there's only a few, which is unfortunate, because diplomacy is a big deal. I mean, it was a huge deal back in the Renaissance times. Treaty of Westphalia, anybody? Kind of a big, massive deal. Oh, I'm still paused. How foolish of me. Let's see now. Where else can have a trade depot that's good? You? Oh, hello. Yes. Constantinople, obviously. And here. Really? Hang on a damn minute. Kaffa. Really? I don't remember it being a historical center of trade. Maybe that's just a gameplay thing, so that area doesn't get completely shafted. But, you know, I could be wrong. I'm not an extensive expert on Renaissance history. An Italian engineer is available. During the period of 1450 to 1600, Italian siege engineers were highly sought after to teach the ways of the Tres Italienne to the militaries of Europe. In most cases, these engineers had no national identity and simply worked for whoever could afford to pay them. Sure, I'll hire him. Actually, what year is it now? The year is currently 1498. Ah, yes, this is just the time when Italy is becoming, it's just about to become very aware of the fact that it's not really a singular nation. In our history, there was a lot of nation states. There was the Florentine Republic, Milan under the Sforzas, the Papal States, Venice, obviously. Naples. Naples was a big deal. Naples was claimed by both Spain and France and led to a couple of wars. So Italy had a really fun time around this time. Actually, this current time period, the Pope is Rodrigo Borgia, who people will probably know either from watching the TV show by Showtime or from Assassin's Creed. But Rodrigo Borgia is the current Pope in our timeline at this point in time. And he's just finished, I believe, fighting against the French, although that might have been a year or two earlier. And he's now dealing with the rebellions in the Papal States of the Sforzas and other such people. Caterina Sforza, big deal. Ah, actually, that's the thing. I'm really pissed off that you can't play as Caterina Sforza in this game. It depresses me. You can play as Ludovico or Il Moro, but you can't play as Caterina herself. Local traders demand aid. Merchants and captains of trade vessels in Asir have sent a representative to the government describing their home as being increasingly lawless territory, where piracy runs rampant and ships and ports are routinely raided by privateers. Sure, we'll send you $100. We will. Rodrigo Borgia dies in 1503, actually. I can't remember how he died. I don't think he died of poison. I think he just died of being ill. And his son, his one remaining son, because Giovanni Borgia, or Juan, is dead at this point in time. So Cesare Borgia, who people, again, will probably know from the Assassin's Creed series. Ah, the end of the Peasants' War. Cool. Cesare Borgia is just now becoming a big deal in terms of a combat commander. He renounced his cardinalship. He is the first person ever, actually, to have renounced being a cardinal. I can't send one there because Kaffa's building a trade depot. Fair enough. Go to the next place on the list then. He's just handed in his cardinal's hat and he's gone, "Sorry, Dad, I'd really like to be a soldier," and he's gone off to win a reputation as a great warrior, if a very harsh one. And Machiavelli will write a book called The Prince in 1510, I think. I know he wrote it after Cesare died, but a lot of people went, "Hey, he's got a lot in." You know, he's taking Cesare as a model, and he kind of was, in terms of what not to do. So there's a lot of interesting historical figures at this point in time. Actually, I do believe, if I remember my English history right, that Henry VIII is about to come to the throne, I think? Too many cowards again? Those damn fools, missing out on all the glory. I think Henry VIII came to the throne in 1501. I could be mistaken. It has happened before. Charles the 8th? Charles the something of France has just died. And a very short man. He died by hitting his head on a door jamb. Or at least that's the thing I remember from history class. He hit his head on a door jamb. I don't think that actually killed him. I think it gave him like a severe concussion, because he was already not well. He was already sick from having been in Naples and suffering from a disease in Naples, which was a bad thing. And yes, he died. He died very young. A foreign drill instructor. Morris of Orange pioneered new drills for firearms that made new weapons much more effective. This drill technique was not a secret, and numerous military entrepreneurs learned the drill and placed their services at the disposal of the crowned heads of Europe. I will accept. I believe we are currently actually using Mauritian infantry, are we not? No, we're using longbows. Mauritian infantry is in here. There it is. So that's a thing. What other interesting stuff happened at this point in time? I'm trying to think now, because there was a lot of cool stuff that happened in history. The Dutch are about ready to start a war of nationalism, I think. I think it might have started in 1520-ish. Maybe. Again, European history is not my massive forte. Well, not Renaissance history. I'm more of the early modern period, Frederick the Great onwards, etc. they're about to start a war for independence, and I think it goes for near on 80 years, if I remember correctly. And there's an excellent poem, if I remember right, about a Dutch raid on the Spanish treasure fleet as it was heading back from the New World. But I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. Yeah, I can't for the life of me remember what it's called, unfortunately. Somebody will know. Somebody in the comments will be like, actually, it's this. It'll happen. It's a thing. Another conversion. Good. Jolly good. So we're doing quite well in terms of getting our nation on track. I think I will go for some more courthouses, etc. Temples first. Let's see. Do we want to go with temples along this area and then go to courthouses? I think so. I think we want to put temples in this area. It'd be nice if it actually clicked. This will probably slow down our missionary efforts because some of these provinces do have the ability to be converted, but because we're building buildings in them, it'll take longer. So let's create a nice wide swath of blue. Looks good to me. Let's build down here and connect all this up. Be religiously united. The Timurids have declared war on Medribari. What is Medribari? Where are you guys? I guess I can't know. I will deal with this in a second. You can... Oh. Actually, yes. Deal with that now. And I don't know what I just clicked off. Oh, yes I do. It was the you've completed another thing. In 1509, a monk and engineer tore down the medieval walls of Padua and replaced them with a rampart and ditch which could be swept by flanking fire from the walls, adding an additional level of protection. Cool. So let's upgrade our troops. We can take Reformed Gallagher infantry. They're not that great. Lands Connect infantry. I'm making a hash of that one too. They're basically the Holy Roman Emperor's lot. Actually, yeah, there we go. It's got a little descriptor thing. They're a type of infantry first created in the early 16th century in the Holy Roman Empire. They were mostly armed with long spear or pike. So that's pretty cool. But these guys are the interesting ones. Condotta is the Italian word for contract and was used to describe the mercenary units that fought mostly in Italy for the various city-states. The leaders of a Condotta regiment were called condottieri. The most famous among them was Sir John Hawkwood, Francesco Sforza, and Bartolomeo Colleoni. Bartolomeo also appears in the Assassin's Creed series. That Bartolomeo who has the massive sword Bianca, same guy. Alright, let's get you all converted up. So there's a lot of interesting history from this time. It's so cool. There's just so much interesting stuff. It's beautiful. The War of the Roses has finished in England as well. Although it did finish in 1485, I think. So I'm a little behind on the... Oh yeah, by the way, this thing happened. That the Tudor dynasty is now firmly entrenched on the throne because they won the War of the Roses. So that's another interesting thing. And the Tudor dynasty, of course, is the one that gives birth to Elizabeth after Henry VIII. So from... Of course we'll build the palace. Of course! How can we not? So from 1548, I think, is when he died. She ruled until 1601, I think. Which might be why I thought he came to the throne in 1501. It was 1601 or 1602. She died very early in the 16th century. 17th. I can never remember how that works. You know what I'm talking about. Don't you give me sass comment section. You know what I'm talking about. So let's see now. Diplomacy can probably build us some more dry docks. Actually, you can probably build us more marketplaces. Let's increase the trade on our fair shores of France. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Ile-de-France University, the class of 1502. To the administration, of course. We've got fairly good prestige. Actually, how is our prestige doing? We're losing just under 2 a year, which isn't too bad. That's pretty good. You don't have to worry too much about prestige. Ferrara, again, to that. You don't have to worry too much about prestige as a massive country, because once you get into a war, you're pretty much guaranteed to win. You won't have to worry too much. Let's get all of these upgraded. All of my upgrades with 2Ds for a double dose of my pimpin'. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. We should probably build ports over here as well. Not ports, marketplaces. To increase the trade power of these joints. Because the Baltic and... I know that's not the Baltic. The Baltic and the English Channel area are very, very powerful in terms of trade. So you want to be able to build a lot of trading ports along the coast. Oh, we blew through all of it? Wow. That was unexpected. Alright, well, we'll build some more courthouses. Actually, I'm pretty sure I just built the courthouses and then forgot to go... I built the temples, and then I forgot to build courthouses. We will start with Italy and such this time around, because there is a lot of stuff that we can build here. Oh, you don't have a temple. Really, Venice? Well, that must change. Mogadishu will give trade power to Ali. Okay, Mogadishu is an independent place, huh? We lost claim on a province, Markazi, and therefore cannot fight the Timurids for it. That's okay. I'm not really all that concerned. So I'm thinking that it might not be the worst idea to go to war for some of... Ooh, scandal at the court, really? One moment. I just want to finish placing all these things, if you don't mind, game. And there we go. Okay, cool. Now we can read it. Scandal at court. Sometimes a scandal would erupt in the royal court and would upset a monarch to the point where the most diplomatic activity would come to a standstill and until things quieted down a bit. Bribe an advisor to take the blame, or take the blame and move on. Well, we got a ton of cash. What's the point of having all this money if we're not going to, abuse the privilege? Take the blame, somebody. Awesome. We are all set. So, I think it might be a good idea to declare war against Denmark, but declare war against Denmark. I mean Gotland, but I'm not sure... I mean, he's only got a military skill of 2. Would that really be a thing that our king would do? Maybe. Maybe if we get a borders tension thing with them, I will use that as a reason to say we would go to war against them again. Because I kind of want to strengthen up Denmark, or at the very least, because if we're the war leader, we can determine who gets what. So we can force a release of Sweden, say, or return of territory to Norway. So we have some options if we're the ones declaring the war. Show Elan. Oh, I love this one. Our strong emphasis on the offensive gives our country's army a feeling of strength, because attack is always the best form of defense. Our men charge fearlessly into battle, knowing that victory will be theirs. Go for the eyes! Beautiful. But as I said, you can get a thing where having too much offensive ability means that you will incur a detrimental effect to fort defense, which is bad. That's not a good thing. Fort defense is a big deal. Very big deal. So how is Gotland doing? They're allied with Grodno, and they have Bjarmia as a protectorate. That's interesting. Usually Bjarmia goes for Volga Bulgaria. Actually, speaking of Volga Bulgaria, they're pretty close to us in terms of tech, aren't they? Kind of. So we need to get a little bit more of a leg up on tech, so that they will increase their technological ability in terms of becoming westernized. So I think I might put a bit more emphasis on technology just for a little bit, so that Volga Bulgaria will actually get westernized, because they're very close to us, and it would be nice to have another western nation over here, because if Volga Bulgaria doesn't westernize, the western countries like Gotland and Denmark usually roll right over them. So if we can get them westernized, I would be okay with that. Oh, hello! Member of our dynasty elected. Now this is why I like trying to get your dynasty on the throne of an elected monarchy. Apart from the fact that it is advantageous because it's another member of your dynasty on a throne, you get this. You get a ton of stuff from having got the election victory. So we have won the election and succeeded to the throne. This will increase our prestige by 25, a legitimacy by 10, and we also gain 24 admin, 24 diplomatic, and 48 military power. Not half bad for just setting a diplomat over there, and eventually you'll get somewhere with it. Oh yeah, might help if I unpaused. So, our... Poland wants an alliance? I'm going to say no, because they're just going to use it to drag us into a war with Volga Bulgaria, and I'm not even remotely interested. What's this? Pretender rebels, huh? That could be intriguing. But I'm not even remotely interested in getting into a war with Volga Bulgaria, because we have all this territory here, right? We don't need more. Not really. So, where are we? Okay, Poland itself gets a massive bonus to getting its own dynasties elected, so we start off at a bit of a disadvantage, but it's not impossible to claw a victory, obviously, because we just did. Our conversion was successful of Cassadia, so go forth and get Podna. Oh, that thing expired. He is so fantastic of an advisor. That's unfortuitous. Actually, let's have a look at our advisors, because he's getting on in years. Oh, an Inquisitor! I kind of want the Inquisitor. Damn it. I really do, actually. National unrest is great and all, but Inquisitor... I kind of want to do it. I really do. Alright, let's just not worry about it for right this second. How many points do we need to get this? 946. 850, 994. I think Engineer Corps is pretty good because it'll get us extra siege ability. I think I'm going to take it. And it also unlocks the next of our national ideas. So, offensive ideas increased. Imperador, we have unlocked an idea in the offensive thing. Engineer Corps allows us to gather the greatest minds our nation has to offer in the area of military technology and make use of their unrivaled services. Hooray! And we also got the Roman legions. The legions of Rome at their peak were considered one of the finest fighting forces the world had ever seen. With the Empire's rebirth, its armies must once again strive for nothing less than this level of martial excellence. Plus 10% to infantry combat ability and 1% less yearly army tradition decay, which is very, very good. It's a very big deal. Tradition gets you a lot of stuff. Oh, hello. What? Marcus II has fallen ill and cannot handle all the aspects of ruling the Roman Empire for the time being. How shall we handle this? More power to the nobles, which gets you extra production. And that will last until 1516 unless he dies before that. Or delegate more to the provinces, which gets you extra trade efficiency, again, unless he dies before that. More power to the nobles, I think. We like the status quo. The status quo is a thing for us. We're an empire. We don't want some uppity bastard deciding that he could do a better job than we could. So let's see what's going on in the world at large that we can actually see, because I know I haven't taken exploration yet, and that's why we don't have a huge map to pore over and go, oh my god, look at that thing. Eugenius IV, again? I'm confused because that's the third Eugenius IV. Whatever. Polish are in charge of the papal conclave again. That's unfortunate. But that's not the worst thing in the world. It could have gone worse. I mean, at least they're not likely to declare a crusade or anything against us, or excommunicate us or something like that. I'm pretty sure you can do that. Can't you excommunicate? CN University, yes. Administration, I think you can. Forgive usury, grant indulgence for sins, levy a church tax, bless the ruler. Oh, I guess not. I thought you could. Maybe you can excommunicate as a as an option in diplomacy. I guess that's possibly how it works. I honestly don't remember. Who sent a gift to who? Mancia received a gift from Volga, Bulgaria. Okay, so they're probably trying to get these guys as their vassal. Are they their vassal now? Royal marriage. Yeah, they're a vassal. That's the usual reason that the AI will give out gifts. They'll be like, hey, I need an extra 10 points of relations. Have this money. Would you like to be a vassal? Oh yeah, sounds like a good idea. Plausible deniability. Conducting any form of attacks on rival ships in peacetime, whether through sanctioning reprisals or private wars or covertly backing piracy, has had many benefits to us, but is not without problems. Okay, so somebody's basically gone, hey, no, I totally work for these guys legitimately. Ajuran. I don't even know what Ajuran is, so these are legitimate merchants, man. And border friction. Aha! Aha! Legitimate cause for war. Perhaps a policy change is in order. Damned right, that policy change is to go to war. Okay, so let's see. How much of a fleet do we have if we include the Danes? Oh no, we lost a general. Well, that's okay, we'll get a new one. Yes, I would love a general. Hadrian Manuel. Oh yes, you're quite good. I mean, he's not fantastic. He could be better, but he's not terrible either. Okay. So let's see, how many ships do we have tallying that in? How many ships do they have? They don't really have all that many. Which is good. Can we declare them a rival? Is that possible? Can we do that? No. I guess we outclassed them too recently. Also, diplomatic reputation, +9? Yeah. Hell yes. Oh, okay, I see. I didn't realize that it increased the chances of getting a personal union. Although I guess that makes sense, actually. That is logical. Alright, well, Gotland, you're right there, and you have done bad things. You have given us Casus Belli. So if we declare war, enemy allies, Grodno, we can probably force Grodno out of the war with, like, one battle. If I'm honest. We can claim Reconquest or Conquest. I'm going to go with Reconquest, and I'm going to say that our war goal is Skane. You can do the rest of them. As long as you have cores and Casus Belli, you should be able to claim back all those things for them. I'm not going to take Gotland completely apart, but I'm going to enjoy this. Alright, declare war. The country is at war. Which, as it stands, is actually good for something. Alright, so the Baltic fleet is going to go out there. Ah, they do have some ships. Well, the Danes are right here, so they should come and help us. But we'll go straight for this Gotlander fleet. Legio Libatrix, you're going to go for Skane. Legio Hodor, you're going to go for Smarland. Legio Ferrata, I'm going to send them to Grodno if Grodno joins the war. And then I'm going to send them to Riga. So, go to Wystrip. Germanicus, you can start the sieges. Actually, start with Memel. And the Legio Orleans is going to move up to here to provide support. So, Gotland, are you going to join in the battle? You did? Oh, Gotland. So Denmark joined our war, and Grodno joined Gotland. Denmark should be okay. Oh, and hey, we converted a thing. Hooray!